come on, man. You could have just politely told those kids you were all out of fudgesicles for the day. No need to scare them away from future business. Last month, Jim Carrey attended the French equivalent of the Oscars, the César Awards, to accept an honorary award for lifetime achievement. And the internet has been abuzz ever since about Mr. Carrey's seemingly modified appearance on the red carpet, with some going so far as to suggest that it was a celebrity impersonator wearing a Jim Carrey mask. Yes, it is a stupid conspiracy theory, even by 2026 standards, but at least it's a way better idea for a sequel to The Mask than Son of the Mask. Besides, we all know that the real explanation for Mr. Carrey's modified appearance is that he's actually a vampire. Or at least he was almost a vampire in this 1985 horror comedy that marked his very first leading man role long before In Living Color would put him on the track to actual movie stardom. Playing a virginal high schooler who tries to pop his cherry at a nightclub with a sexy older woman played by supermodel Lauren Hutton, only to instead get a bite on his thigh. As it turns out, Miss Hutton is actually a vampire whose eternal youth depends on sucking the blood of virgins. Truly, this film is the Dracula to Teen Wolf's Frankenstein, as an amusingly dated time capsule of the 80s that contains dated stereotypes, dance fighting, and a gay sidekick played by Black Bart from Blazing Saddles, as well as an impressive early performance from Jim Carrey, if that is his real name, because we all know the real truth is that Jim Carrey was replaced on the set of Man on the Moon in the late 90s with celebrity impression genius Tony Clifton.
Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-die, stick a needle in your eye.
I'm Jesse Shade, and on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network, let's head back to the Halloween season of 2015 to revisit this virginity-losing episode of Awfully Good Movies.
Well, we are in the second half of the Awfully Good Halloween special, and we're moving on from witches to another monster most people associate with Halloween, the vampire. They suck your blood, they sell you cereal, they teach you to count. Everybody loves a vampire, especially during these times of All Hallows Eve. But nobody loves vampires more than Jim Carrey in the 1985 comedy Once Bitten. Back in the 80s, this flick came and went without much of an impact. But then the 90s came along, and Jim Carrey, who was an unknown back in the day, went on to become one of the biggest names in comedy of that decade, leading to this flick getting rediscovered in the video stores and gaining a cult following. I mean, not the type of cult that drinks cyanide punch so their spirits can ride on a comet, but still, it's a fairly sizable cult. And I certainly watched it plenty back in the day, when Jim Carrey was one of my idols. So let's see if this flick has any life left to suck from it. Hey, if anything, this flick will help us explain why Jim Carrey is attracted to blood-sucking women. After all, he did date Jenny McCarthy.
Oh, shit.
But before we get to Jim Carrey's part in this picture, let's talk about the film's titular vampire, emphasis on tit, the Countess, played by famed supermodel Lauren Hutton, who lives in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills alongside her stable of vampire slaves and her flamboyant gay houseboy Sebastian, played by Cleavon Little.
Okay, Sebastian, out of the closet.
I came out of the closet centuries ago.
Man, how does one go from such an amazing debut in Blazing Saddles to playing second fiddle to Lauren Hutton? I guess cocaine really is a hell of a drug. The Countess has been able to maintain her youthful glow for over 400 years by sucking the blood of a young virgin 3 times every Halloween, which has become even harder for her to do in the sex-driven 1980s.
Being a vampire in the 20th century is a nightmare.
Oh, you think it's hard now, honey? Just wait until you see what they do to vampires in the 21st century. So her vampire slaves prowl the streets of Hollywood looking for a willing young sacrifice, and find one in Mark Kendall, an awkward young man played by Jim Carrey. Mark is frustrated because his girlfriend refuses to go all the way with him, while every other kid in school has made it to third base. So he and his buddies, Johnny from The Karate Kid and David Byrne, hit up a singles bar, leading the Countess to snatch him up and give him the first of the 3 bites she needs before Halloween. Ow! You bit off my dick! my dick! Yeah, fine, I'm kidding. The callus doesn't go that far with Mark, but he does begin to exhibit some strange behavior. He suddenly has a craving for raw hamburger. He has a dislike for sunlight. And worst of all, he starts to hang up Billy Squire posters up in his room. Get this boy to the nearest mental hospital, stat! And as the Countess hunts down Mark to give him the final 2 bites that'll turn him into a full-blown vampire, you stand back and appreciate this movie not as a masterpiece of horror comedy, but one of the most 80s movies ever made. I mean, every frame of this flick screams the 1980s. It eats Don Johnson and shits Wang Chung. And I'm not just talking about the styles and the synth music. The social mores and attitudes in this flick are a complete turnaround from what we find acceptable nowadays. This was a time when teenage boys had to have sex to prove their worth as human beings, and teenage girls were nothing more than objects to have that sex with. This was a time when it was okay for women to have a lion as a pet. This was a time when it was okay to hang up a Confederate flag on your wall and have David Lee Roth on the cover of Rolling Stone. This was a time when it was okay for a white guy to play an Indian.
Do I have some books on vampires? Goodness gracious.
This was a time when men who dress as ladies were merely labeled as gross. And most of all, this was a time when being considered gay was worse than being considered a racist. As you can see in this hilariously uncomfortable scene where Mark's buddies decide to corner him in the shower to check him for vampire bites.
Bags in the shower! Bag alert! What were they doing in the showers in the first place?
They were washing. We were enacting a prison rape scene.
I wish I could tell you that Andy fought the good fight, and the sisters let him be.
Now, I'm not saying I miss these days. I wasn't even born in those days. I'm just saying that this flick is a perfect illustration of how different things were between then and now, and a very enjoyable one. I mean, its jokes are stupid, and the guys playing Mark's buddies are about as pleasant as nails on a chalkboard, but it's all got that indomitable 80s teen comedy spirit that puts a constant smile on your face. And Jim Carrey proves in this early role of his that he had the goods to later become a leading man, even though he doesn't do too much of his physical shtick here, and those celebrity impressions of his still needed some work.
You look like Jerry Lewis.
I thought I looked more like De Niro, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, Jim, but that was less Robert De Niro and more Kevin Bacon getting an icicle shoved up his ass. So if you want to have yourself some dumb fun this Halloween, take yourself back to a time when boys were horny, vampires sucked face as well as necks, and the forces of evil could be defeated by having sex in a coffin. Plus, how can you go wrong with a movie where 2 women fight for the control of a man's heart through a dance-off? How, I ask you, how?
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
So you don't have a costume for that Halloween party? Don't worry, you could go as a drunk once you're through playing the awfully good drinking game! Take a piece of candy every time Jim Carrey rides around in an ice cream truck. Well, there's your problem, buddy. You're not getting any pussy because you're driving a fucking ice cream truck. Unless chicks find creamsicles hot. I know I do. Oh yeah, looks like an Oompa Loompa's dick. Mark's buddies try to hit on some babes.
Do you have protection? You intend to invite 4 friends?
No, it's because my dick is shaped like a hand. It's a serious medical condition. It's not funny. Lauren Hutton bites off a button. Well, hey, that rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, Silent Bob. Snoogans. And take a double shot not only when the term rump ranger is used to describe being gay,
No, that's it. We're homos. We're rump rangers.
but when the term magoombas is used to describe breasts.
Like first bearing big, luscious magoombas?
Magoombas? Why the hell would you ever call boobs magoombas? Oh, so that's what they look like. I've been missing out on so much. And on the nudie watch, that reminds me, I forgot to add one more item to the drinking game. Take a shot whenever you spot Lauren Hutton's nipple painting. Seriously, we've got a straight up painting of boobies, displayed prominently in a PG-13 movie. But I can't say anything about it because her nipple painting is way better than my nipple painting. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Boulder Bruce, Once Bitten is not even twice shy about being awesome, and drains from your neck an 8 out of 10. This is a film that truly does suck your blood. I'm Jesse Schaefer, JoBlo.com, wishing you all the happiest of Halloweens. May you be triumphant in bobbing for apples. May your bags of candy overflow towards the heavens, and may you all have an awfully good time this Saturday.
Happy Halloween.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween. JoBlo.com
everyone, Jesse Shade here from Awfully Good Movies. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me take on more good bad movies, click on any of the links you see here, or subscribe to see this show alongside all the great content that we offer here at JoBlo.com. And remember, I love you. Wait, that sounded wrong. But I do love you though.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.